Recording is started.
Hello. Thank you for attending the Hesperia Branch Library's Staff Development Training Session 1, which is presented by Mickel, consultant for the Hesperia Branch Library. Today's session's topic is YA Advocacy, Improving Future YA Library Service. Our teams need you to teach them how to navigate an increasingly more chaotic and technical information world. They need you to accept their current forms of individual expression while training them for community involvement and future success. Our teams need you to mentor them in participatory citizenship. They also need you to guide them to self-empowerment. Our teams need you to help them find their voice, but also to be their voice until they discover one. They need your advocacy. Are you up for it? Grok Advocacy, you will hear the word advocacy throughout this training. So it's important to understand, know to grok, as the science fiction author Robert Heinlein would say, to grok advocacy in the context of library work. To grok it means to completely, intimately, intuitively understand something. Dictionary.com defines advocacy as the act of pleading for, supporting, recommending, or active espousal. YA advocate Patrick Jones states in his seminal work, New Directions for Library Service to Young Adults, that youth advocacy means believing that services for teens are a right, a given, and an indispensable part of the very business of every library, not an afterthought or a special program. The YALSA Advocate Group makes the distinction that advocacy is more than just telling people about something. It's persuading them with your vision and your passion. As you can see from our word infographic, to understand advocacy is to see all of the words. To grok it is to see what shape the words form. Can you grok advocacy? Why should we care about YA? 1. YA goals support our mission to provide materials for patrons in school, business, and recreational needs. Our community does not have many teen after-school programs or youth organizations, so the library has become a central place for meeting for teens. 2. Less time and resources are wasted by being proactive with our teens instead of reactive. Being proactive means satisfying developmental needs and assets, while being reactive means controlling teens and disciplining behavior. 3. High school years are the last chance to affect literacy skills in youth before students become members of the workforce. And 4, we can instill new assets beyond literacy skills in our youth to help them succeed in adulthood by creating participatory library service. We care about YA because caring is changing teen lives, as the title of this YALSA video implies. Let's now hear from teens themselves about the positive effects of excellent YA service.
Libraries, I don't think many kids are being trying to read.
Well, it's fun, hang out with your friends, talk to the librarians. They're fun to talk to.
My computer broke a while back, but I've always been library after school and do homework. And the references they have are really helpful. I went to pass my English class, so I didn't have a library to look up the resources.
One of my classes I helped me pass for ROTC when I was freshman.
I love libraries.
So we've seen the name YALSA several times now, but what is YALSA? YALSA stands for Young Adult Library Services Association. It was founded in 1957, and its headquarters is in Chicago. YALSA is a division of the American Library Association. Its membership is more than 5,200 members. According to their homepage on the ALA website, YALSA is a national association of library workers and advocates whose mission is to expand and strengthen library services for teens and tweens. Through advocacy, research, and professional development, YALSA builds the capacity of librarians to serve and empower youth. So what do we do as YA advocates? YALSA helps lead us in the right direction in their vision statement. YA advocates promote traditional reading and the literacy movement, including emergent literacies such as content creation. We advocate the use of information and communication technologies to provide effective library services. Good examples of this are homework databases and Twitter reference. We offer equality of access to young adults in the full range of library materials and services. This includes existing and emerging communication technologies, such as computers and cell phones. We provide educational and professional development to workers who are in contact with young people, and we speak up for them. We also engage in collaboration and partnerships with other organizations to meet the unique needs and interests of young adults. YALSA's 6 guidelines for library service to young adults was developed by YALSA members and forms a firm foundation for quality YA service and teen advocacy. The 6 guidelines are extensive and provide developmentally appropriate library and information services for young adults ages 12 to 18. Guideline 1 in the top box of our chart is about YA independence, which means making YA its own service independent of adults and children's services. Guideline 2 is about customer service and giving teens respect and privacy in services and programming. Guideline 3 is about reference and technology and providing cutting-edge reference to teens wherever they are, online or in person. Guideline 4 is about collection development with an eye on both school curriculum and personal interests. Guideline 5 is about developmental needs and assets and creating appropriate services and programs with teen input. And finally, Guideline 6 is about outreach and reaching out to community groups to partner with for new programs and services. So what are the main goals for each of these guidelines? The goals of each guideline. Each of the 6 guidelines has 3 main goal areas for improvement. Each goal may have a strategy that involves a new program, service, training, or outreach. Not all strategies will involve creating YA programs specifically for teen audiences or teen attendance. For example, goals might lead us to create technology services for teens and tweens, like QR codes, staff training and professional development workshops, outreach and collaboration programs with other organizations. Any other type of strategy that advocates for teens, in branch, online, or out in the community. Of course, we will have strategies that do require teen attendance, like Halloween scavenger hunts. Now we will cover the 6 YALSA guidelines and discuss 3 important goals within each guideline that the Hesperia Branch Library can improve upon. Our first is Guideline 1, YA independence. As you can see from the YALSA guideline beneath the title of this slide, we must integrate library service to teens into the overall library plan, budget, and service program. The three main improvement goals for this guideline are: 1, we have to first acknowledge that the developmental needs of teens are different from children, and they require a different kind of attention. 2, we must provide a space that teens own, that teens help design and create, and gives ownership of that space to teens. 3rd, a separate YA budget means creating funding for YA materials and programming, and that would be separate from adult and children budgets. Guideline 2, customer service. YALSA's guideline states, provide teams with courteous and professional customer service at every service point. YALSA research has shown that teams directly benefit when libraries invest in staff development and teen advocacy training. If there's a YA specialist on staff, that's even better. Our second goal is to train staff in non-judgmental service while respecting teen privacy and intellectual freedoms. This also means treating them fairly and not targeting them for breaking the same rules that adults or children may get away with. We should strive to create a YA service that embraces cultural, economic, and personal diversity. So yes, even Goth Girl gets excellent, non-judgmental reference service. Guideline 3, reference and technology. Here, YALSA's guideline states, use the most current information and communication technologies, the connections that they use on a daily basis, to provide information to teens. Our first main goal is that the reference services need to utilize social networking tools such as IM, wikis, blogs, and chat. Library early adopters might attempt text reference service creation, which would benefit our young man in the first picture, who's always on his cell phone. Staff should also develop homework resources like LibGuides and promote homework assistance websites to meet school needs. Finally, libraries should offer the same quality of reference service to teens while also striving to offer online reference services 24/7 to accommodate teens' busy lifestyles. This may sound impossible for a branch library, but remember that email reference is still a form of 24/7 online reference. Guideline 4, collection development. YALSA's guideline at the bottom of our slide states, provide and promote information and resources appropriate to both curriculum and leisure needs of teens. Our first goal is to provide information in various media, such as audiobooks, CDs, databases, and DVDs. We also must provide computers, internet, and software for homework and personal use. We must keep an eye on emerging technologies for our branch so teens can access the collection better. One possibility that we have yet to explore is the QR code. Our next goal is to develop collections that include suggestions and requests from young adults. What they need, what they want, and the materials they demand are important for selection and acquisition. Third, we want to locate materials appropriate to curriculum in local schools. YA advocacy includes school material support. Guideline 5, developmental needs and assets. YALSA's guideline states, provide library services and programs appropriate for teens. We can create activities, programs, and projects that satisfy developmental needs, create assets, and encourage a sense of responsibility in our youth. The 7 developmental needs of young adolescents are described in the literature and are explored in depth by YA advocate Patrick Jones. They include such needs as physical activity, achievement, self-definition, creative expression, positive social interaction, structure, and meaningful participation. The 40 developmental assets were identified by the Search Institute, a youth advocacy group. It describes assets that youth develop in areas of support structure, empowerment, boundaries, time management, commitment to learning, values, social competencies, and positive identity. Programs and services can be tailor-made to help foster a combination of these needs and assets in our teams. Even crafts or gaming contests can be designed to foster developmental needs and assets. Our second goal is to help our teams become information literate and self-sufficient when it comes to searching for information, evaluating information for quality, and also using it properly. We also want to actively involve teams in helping us plan programs and services using teen advisory boards, focus groups, and surveys. Guideline 6, Outreach. And now our final YALSA guideline states, cultivate partnerships with community agencies and groups serving teens. Our first improvement goal is to identify teen organizations and groups, both local and national. With luck, we may even be able to find grants with groups specializing in YA issues. We also want to collaborate with these youth group organizations. We could ask them to help develop our services or work together for a common cause. Our third goal is to collaborate and partner with schools for class assignments and important library programs. Keeping abreast of what's happening in our high schools and middle schools can help determine the direction of our services and programming. If we keep an ear out on what's happening in the youth community, we can develop programs that are relevant and timely. The YA Advocacy Program. There are 6 modules in the 2-year program. Just one of the 6 guidelines is covered in a module, for a total of 6 modules. Each module meets once a month for 4 months. The chart below lists each module, the guideline for that module, and the dates that the module will take place. For example, Module 1 tackles the guideline for YA independence and takes place in the 4-month period between June 2013 and September 2013. How does each module work? Each module has 1 meeting per month for 4 months. We can choose every first Tuesday or whatever schedule works best for our staff. Each month's meeting focuses on one of the following improvement goals in the chart. In our example, Meeting 1 will focus on training staff in the YALSA guideline for YA independence. Meeting 2 is development of new service and programming ideas. Meeting 3 is the implementation of these ideas in the library. And Meeting 4 involves evaluation of the new programs and services after data collection. When Meeting 4 of Module 1 is completed, the process starts over with the next module. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Meeting 1 is the training module, and of every module is a training meeting with all staff. This is a basic training of the YALSA guideline for that module. For Module 1, that would be YA independence. We will read materials about this subject, watch presentations, and discuss what it means for a library to have an independent YA area. Handouts and bibliographies will be given at Meeting 1 to give everyone a good background on the topic, including books, articles, and websites to review. We will determine 3 basic goals for improvement after brainstorming ideas. These will be areas that we will try to improve at our library. Meeting 2 of every module is a developmental meeting where groups break out for brainstorming and discuss how to implement YA goals. At the beginning of the meeting, the staff breaks out into 3 groups. One manager or librarian will facilitate each group. Each group chooses one goal to develop from the goals ideas discussed in meeting 1. Groups will organize developmental duties by discussing what information is needed for service creation, marketing, and feedback. If we use an example of a teen art show, the flow chart shows us how we can organize duties. First, we determine the service, develop a budget, and determine what space, materials, and staffing is used to conduct the teen art show. Next, how do we market this idea? Do we market internally, in the branch, or externally? Or maybe a combination of both? Is the marketing in person or online? We also develop the type of feedback we will be collecting. Are we going to hand out surveys at the end or conduct a discussion with participants? Will the feedback be on paper or online? At the end of our meeting, everyone's role will be designated and due dates given for their part of the development. For example, a marketing flyer might be given a due date of 2 weeks before meeting 3. Meeting 3 of every module is the implementation of one or more ideas within the library. This month's meeting is actually the launch of the program or service offered. So let's look at an example of a one-shot service. Let's say the service is staff training, and the topic is how to talk to teens. Now remember, not all YA advocacy services or programs will have teen attendance. Some groups in certain modules will choose to have staff training sessions on YA advocacy issues such as this one. So in this one-shot, the training is developed and every group member has a role in creation of the training, whether it is in research, creating handouts, or presenting it to the staff. The training fulfills a goal and this service occurs only once. Now, here is an example of an ongoing program. One breakout group implements a teen gaming club, and each staff member takes on a role in service creation, marketing, or feedback. The turnout is huge, and the data collected makes it certain that this program will return the following month. The data will be crunched and discussed, which leads us to meeting 4, evaluation. This module is an evaluation meeting with all staff in attendance to discuss what succeeded and what improvements can be made in the process so far. At this point, new products, programs, or services launched in meeting 3 will have real-world data to review from surveys, feedback forms, and focus groups. A discussion in this meeting will cover what worked and what didn't work. Programs and services will be continued or discontinued based on success and improvement capacity. Ongoing programs will be signed off by management and the YA specialists as they will become part of the library's programming. For shelved programs, there's always a chance to revisit them when the 2-year program cycles again. Program results. Over this 2-year advocacy program, staff will learn the key guidelines in improving library service to young adults. This program will take 2 years to complete. In that time, the culture of the Hesperia Branch Library will transform as staff become YA advocates on a day-to-day basis. Teens will benefit because the entire staff will determine YA service development. The training program puts the whole staff in tune with teen needs. Teens will begin to see library staff as playing an important role in their futures. The staff also benefits. While successfully meeting the developmental needs of our teen patrons, we all become advocates. So what's next? First, read all of the materials in the handout given during this session. It gives further reading for important YA issues. Visit the YALSA website, where you can find more information on teen advocacy. Many of your module development meetings can be enhanced with information available on this site for free. The YALSA Facebook page is for teen advocates and always has up-to-date information and research. Check out the VOIA website for insightful articles on teen advocacy. VOIA stands for Voice of Youth Advocates. Their website also has book lists, emerging technologies relevant to teens, and interviews with authors. The URL for both YALSA's website and VOIA's site are on the handout and the Hesperia Branch Library's new LibGuide. Please bookmark our YA Advocacy LibGuide on your computer, or scan the QR code on this handout for immediate access on your mobile device or tablet. I will open the guide now so you can see how to navigate it for the next 6 modules. All the resources we will use are in the LibGuide, so it's important that you explore, read, and even suggest materials to be added. On the left are the calendar and links to important readings. Meeting updates will be posted in the middle column at the top of this homepage. Suggested readings are below that as well. And that's me on the right, as you can see. And in the top row, you will notice that each module has a separate tab. Clicking the tab will bring you to the module's calendars and readings for that month. All 6 modules will be updated as we progress in this 2-year program. Everyone is encouraged to start a discussion by clicking the comments button at the bottom of the link list and book sections and other resource sections, like I'm doing right now. On the Module 1 tab, you can prepare for next month's meeting topic on YA independence and check in periodically for updates. If you forget the URL for the LibGuide, you can access it by scanning the QR code on your mobile device or tablet. The QR code will be posted in the staff lunch area for future reference. I hope you enjoyed viewing the LibGuide and look forward to hearing your feedback on it soon. And that just about completes our first training session prior to Module 1, Meeting 1. Does anybody have any questions regarding Hesperia Library's new YA Advocacy program? Well, if not, thank you so much to the Hesperia Library for hosting this training session and to all staff for attending. We will see you next month as we begin Module 1 and learn the ins and outs of YA independence.